Hi, my name is Maarten. I'm a bonsai grower from Belgium, and in this video I will show you the styling process of this Austrian black pine. So I bought this pine last year from an amateur bonsai grower. The original front was this side of the tree, and the tree was styled with this in mind as a front. It was grown from just common nursery material. It was trunk chopped right here, and the whole tree is basically made up from this one branch. So the apex and all the other branches emerge from just one point. The downside of this as a front is that all the branches are in the back. You can easily bend them forward, but what kind of bothers me is this this angle. It's super heavy and super in your face. So I will try to restyle the tree using this side as a front. The only downside with this design is that there are basically no back branches here. So I will try to use a couple of these branches up top to make some pads in the back. And in a few years, it'll probably be fully grown and the back will be closed. Another option would be to graft one or two branches here directly to the trunk. I may try that next spring and see how that works. So with this side as a front, I will prune a couple of branches back because a literati style bonsai should be very open, and right now it's super heavy. It has a lot of foliage, a lot of mass for such a narrow trunk. It's a pretty tall tree as well. So you kind of get the feeling that it can topple over any moment. So the first step will be to prune back some of the branches and just do a basic branch selection. Then I will clean the tree a bit further and leave just some of the branch tips, wire everything out, and then place the pads accordingly. The really nice part about this tree is, in my opinion, the slender trunk. It has a slight movement in it, not too dramatic or anything, but it just has like a couple of slow movements going up the tree. It has a super gnarly bark as well, so I think this tree has been in a pot or a bonsai pot for a very long time. I think the previous owner had made the tree about 15 years ago, and it has been in a bonsai pot ever since. And you can really tell about when you look at the bark. The base of the tree is also pretty nice. It has like a broad section here. It's kind of like a foot. I have no idea what the nigra looks like because I haven't repotted it last spring. I will do it next spring because there is a lot of dense black soil in between the roots, so I will try to remove that and replace it with regular bonsai soil. Also, the pot is not well suited for this kind of tree. I think it's pretty deep, pretty tall as well, so I think it would look a lot better on maybe a flat rock or just a flat pot. So this will be the first branch, and it kind of consists of 3 pads at the moment. There's a lot of movement in the branch. It's super nice. Well, it also has a lot of taper in it, which is super nice. But if you bend it down more and create a pad, the lowest pad comes just right in the middle of the tree. And I think it needs to be a bit shorter because otherwise it's like it cuts the tree in half and you get like 2 sections which are almost the same length. So I'm just going to go in and cut the middle part out. I don't know if you can see it that well. and leave a small stump to maybe make a gin out of it. So right about there is just fine. But you can see that it was like pretty well built and pretty ramified as well. This will be the branch that is used for counterbalancing the first branch, or the sashi eda as it is called in Japanese. Since I cut a large piece of the sashi eda, the first branch, I will also need to reduce the counterbalance branch. One of the downsides of this tree is that it has got a little bit of inverse taper over here on this side. So I will try to hide it using this branch. If you look closely, the branch splits here, and then you basically have 3 branches. This branch here is, in my opinion, the least interesting of the 2. Well, this one is also pretty small in the back. This one. This one is the most ramified. So I think I will just use these 2 to create a new pad, and cut this one to remove or reduce the mass of this counterbalance branch. Again, I leave a small stub to make a gin later on. If we move a bit further up the apex, you can see that this branch is pretty thick and heavy. It's almost the same size as the first branch, or the sashi eda. So I think I'm going to remove this branch as well. I said earlier that I was thinking about using this branch to create a back branch. I could move this one back and replace the bigger branch with this smaller branch. It'll probably won't look good for like the first couple of years, maybe, because this is a very young branch and only has like 2 or 3 subdivisions. But I think in the long run it will look much better. Also, this branch, the first branch should stick out a bit further to the left to accentuate the movement. And this is pretty stiff, so I don't think I can... Well, I could bend it, but probably not in the way that would look good with this lower branch, because it should be more closer to the trunk. So I will just cut it somewhere here maybe, because it does have some nice movement in it. So if I make a gin out of it, it could look pretty interesting, you know, just because it follows the same movement as the rest of the tree. The first pad is almost set. I'm going to go through it again near the end to do the finishing touches. There are some long growing tips at the end here. I don't really want to cut them because they can, well, give a lot of energy to this branch. but I did have to wire or bend them pretty hard to get them to fit in the silhouette. I tried as best as could to make it as flat as possible. Here and there I also removed the lower needles to give it a very clean appearance. Here in the back there's now also some foliage, so this can also work as a sort of a back branch down low. So now I can go ahead and wire the second branch. So I just finished wiring and setting the second branch. I tried to add a lot of movement in the branch so that it would fit the overall profile of the tree, because it was sticking out quite a lot. Luckily the branch was still pretty flexible, so it went pretty easy. The overall movement should be more to the left, so now I have to try and bend the branches in the apex, or maybe the whole apex in itself, more towards the left to make a compact design and to accentuate the movement to the left. So I decided to put some raffia on this part of the apex because I had the idea of lowering this whole area more down, so I will try to pull this branch underneath this, well, empty space and pull it back to fill in the back. This is the back side of the tree, by the way. So I will put raffia on this elbow because that's the weakest point in this area. So hopefully I can bring it down a bit more and more to the back. So I finished wrapping the whole branch in raffia. I made sure that every weak spot is covered, so that when I start pulling the branch down, the cambium stays in place and the branches don't split. So now I am going to apply some thick aluminium wire around this part and then start pulling it down. I also attached a screw over there. In the background you can see it, and then I'll do some heavy bending. Okay, so I don't know if the wire is in the correct place. I'm gonna try and bend it from this part down, but it's possible that I have to rearrange it as I go. The idea is that I want to put this branch in here, so I don't know if that's gonna work. We'll see. So I did some work off camera. There are two guide wires right now. One starts here, which is pulling the branch down. It ends here with a screw. That enabled me to put this branch underneath the elbow here, and so now it can serve as a back branch. Also, this branch right here is now more to the back, so I can fill in the right back side of the tree. So these are now 2 back branches. The next step is to, well, and then I added this guy wire to create a more compact design for the apex. So this this part is much more narrow now. I think in overall it'll be better for the tree to be more compact because the trunk is so thin. So I'm almost finished wiring this tree. I put an extra guy wire over on this branch to bring it more towards the trunk. The only problem right now is that this branch is a little bit too short to cover this negative space here. So I will try to use the counterbalance branch to fill in this gap a little bit and then see how that goes. So this is the final result for now. I kind of like the flow to the right and then back to the left. It's a little bit more dynamic now. The pads still need to be a bit more refined, but I can do that when the growth gets a bit finer in the coming years. Now that I compacted the tree, I think the other side also has some potential as a new front. So maybe I can change it, or yeah, maybe I will change it back in a couple of years, but we'll see how it develops. Just for now, the rough outline is there, and next season I can repot it in a more shallow bonsai pot. So thanks for watching and see you in the next video.